Hello ladies and gentlemen, we are live now with Pacific Coast Auto auction video here. And so, welcome to the video. I'm Derek, I am the big boss of the company. I also got Mike here on the right of me, over here. Is that the right or the left? It's in my right, but I think this video is swapped. Mike, say what's up. What's up, everyone? We have 0 people watching right now. Maybe, I don't know. It seems like this one here, it takes a little bit of time for it to update. And so maybe we got a couple of people. We're going to start off here with just the plain introduction. This is the auction picks video where you guys can pick your picks from the auctions, and we'll talk about them. And it's pretty normal. I mean, we've been doing this video for a while. We do it every week. And so you can check out, if you want to take part in this, go to the bottom down here where it says auction.pacificcoastjdm.com, and then you can come log in using the guest account. The login and the password are directly there on the screen. And then pick the cars that you want. Like, for example, I want to take a look at Honda Accord CL1, which is the Accord Euro Type R. Search for that, and we got 2 of them up for auction at the moment. One of them has 111,000 kilometers and the other one 135,000 kilometers. Of course, they come in 5-speed manual. They only come with manual transmissions. And that one's a USS one, Mike.
Run away.
Yeah. Okay. So there it is. Let's just switch this around. There we go.
Ooh, that's cool.
That is cool. And then, yeah, so you can buy any of these cars if you have an active purchasing account. Here's the auction sheet of the condition of the car. And then, so we'll translate that for you, and you choose to bid on it. And if you're watching this, 21 viewers right now, 5 messages. Welcome everybody to the chat. I'll go over that in a second. You can bid on the cars, pick your high bid, we'll bid for you. A car like this, well, the prices have been going up for these recently, and it has some pretty ugly wheels on it. I think that condition is not bad, but it is an R grade with some paint damage over here and a pretty big dent. I'm going to guess somewhere around 220,000 yen, or about $2,000 US for this one, plus the cost of sending it to you, our service fee, and the import costs or so. So depending on your country, the actual cost is going to be a little bit different. But that's how it is. Pretty simple. Interior picks. It's cool. And the CL1 is a car I've always wanted to try owning, and it may be one that I get sometime soon. It's sort of like a bigger version of the Integra Type R. Euro Type R. Okay, so let's see who's in the chat. We got Lusoi Hardware. See you guys and gals soon. That came in at 10:30 before we actually started streaming. Thank you for coming in early, I guess. How much for a 1998 GT-R R34? They didn't start that car until 1999, so we were joking about this before we started going live. If you can find one that's a 1998, it'd be a prototype version. It would probably be pretty expensive. The actual costs of the R34 GT-R though are 3 million to 6 million for most of them. Pedro says, yo, left. Don't know what that means. Aaron Wick says, hello, Derek. Hello, Mike. I say hello to Aaron. Mike is ignoring you at the moment.
Hey, Aaron. How's it going? Thanks. Great to have you here.
Yaku Hauj says, Ohio, which is Japanese for good morning, because it is morning here in Japan. It's 11:03 right now. What else we got? Tristan Bostwick says, hello. Hi, Tristan. Yaku Hawk says, Ohio. Wait, did I just say that twice? My gosh. Mitchell Dinkins, I'm here. That A70 Super Dude says, hey Derek, I would like to check out your channel if you actually have A70 Supers on it. Mr. A70 Super Dude. Jay Clark, I'm here. Hello everybody. Hello here. And I think we're starting to get a few questions. Mikiro Zoo says, hi Derek, you mentioned in a previous video that it's really busy right now. When does that whoa, where are we going? When does that craziness die down for you to start taking in new customers? We can take in new customers now if you want. We're just, especially with new emails, they get less priority than people who've already signed up. And so we're not having an issue with our current number of customers, but it doesn't leave a lot of time for answering new inquiries. But if you want to send one in, we will eventually get to you. And we're trying to push for getting all those emails done as much as we can before the break. We're going to be off for Christmas from the 21st of December until the 4th of January. And during that time, there's going to be no videos, unfortunately. So you'll have to get in all your video time now and in the next few weeks until then. What engine does that car have? Oh, this one? It comes with a 2200 engine. I think it's an H22. Let's have a look, actually. CL1-11012888. What's
you might want to explain what you just did there, in case people don't know.
Okay. So right down here, it says here date of production. This is a calculator. You choose what type of car that you want here, and then you put in your chassis number. And then the Japanese chassis numbers are always some sort of a code, hyphen, and then it's a serialized number that's all numbers, no letters. And so you're not looking for a 17-digit odometer here. Here's CL1. A lot of people will call the Japanese cars by their chassis code. In this case, CL1 is the chassis code. And then you press the find button and it gives you more information about the car. Hopefully, some of them are not in here. For some reason, a lot of Hondas aren't in here. And so in this case, it just says it's a 2001, but they don't have all the data for this car, which kind of sucks. You can also go up here to the auto catalog. And this is an important thing if you become kind of like a regular buyer. And you can look at some of the stats. This is all on our website. So Honda Accord. Get the correct one there. And I don't know when these started, 1999 or something? 2004. And let's find the Euro R. Here we go. Oh, this is a later model. Okay, so this one has the K20 engine. This is the CL7. We don't want that one. Go to the older ones. Not that old. Yeah, I don't remember which year that the Euro R's started. F20B, not a very amazing engine there. Nope, must have been earlier than this. So 1997 to 1999. It's definitely not an F20 that came in that. It's an H22, I believe. Why can't I find this? Well, time to give up. Wikipedia. Euro R Accord. You can actually do it in this system, but I'm just being impatient. So Honda Accord Euro R. We got a Japanese computer, so we get the Japanese websites first. So an H22A. And I think it puts out like 220 horsepower. So there you go. 220 horsepower front wheel drive. It's good. Okay, just going to go over a couple more of these comments here before we get into showing you guys last week's. Aaron Wick says, "I'm ready to send you the deposit. Take my money." He sent in $9.99 US. Thank you, Aaron, for sending that in. We actually have your email in our to be answered email box for today. Isn't that right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
And he sent us money, so you have to be super nice to him now.
You'll get a reply right after the stream.
Yeah, if you ever want to get excellent service from us, give us free money in the super chat. Otherwise, you never know what kind of service you're going to get.
We don't know either. Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. We were just talking on the car ride back from dropping off some parts at a shop this morning about how like some people, and I'm not going to say any names, but some people are not that nice when they demand the world. And so they'll be really mean to you, but then they're like, why aren't you doing this for me? Why aren't you being nice to me? Well, why aren't you going the extra mile to get me all these things that I want? When that person has been very difficult to deal with, demanding, not much of a nice guy kind of thing.
In some cases, really rude too.
Yeah, that's really the word that comes down to it, because
Yeah.
the rudeness of the customer, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
And this is something that we don't really have to deal with because nearly all of our customers are very good, amazing people. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It does mean a lot to us.
Obviously, we can't be in business unless we have customers, and we have a business structure that kind of attracts people who actually care more than other companies, I think, and that's part of what makes our job more enjoyable, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Aaron, for sending that in, the free money for you. We'll be sure to email it to you today. Mike will. I think Mike will.
Yep.
Okay, so just go back just to see a few more of your guys' questions that you sent in. Then I'm going to go check out the past sale prices of the cars that we showed you last week. Lancer, Evo, GSR, Evo 6, Tommy Mackinnon, 4-wheel drive, number 347. We will take a look at that one.
Yeah,
you got that down on the list?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, Derek, it's Jason. I don't know if you remember me from your emails. Haha. Oh, I don't know. We like... Jason's a popular name. I'm guessing that we have like 40 Jasons that we've talked to before, so I'm not sure. But Jason, I may have sent you an email, and it may have been a fun email. I don't know. Even people that I don't know that well, I tend to like to make the email a little bit interesting for those people, if I can. Depends on how busy I am. How much for the Celica all-track? Oh, Mike, remember what we were going to do for this video, but then I forgot to do it? Do you remember? Probably
I've got
not.
something that's a bit foggy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we were going to all take our clothes off and do this one naked, right?
Oh.
No, that's not what it was.
What?
Mike and I had pretended
right.
that we were going to mispronounce the name of every single car without
right,
mentioning any
yeah.
sort of like, why are we doing this? And so the Accord might be the Asord, and the Celica could be the Celiac.
We have to keep the other one a secret.
Yeah, the naked one? We'll just, yeah, definitely. We'll have to do that one time. Okay, what else do we got here? Aaron Wicks knows how to speak Japanese. He says, Kuruma okai tai, which means I want to buy a car. Ooh, I have a Honda Accord 2000 Coupe. That means you're cool, Jason. My car is really interesting in my eyes. Yes, Accords are great cars. All of them are. Am I excited to finally get a purchasing account? Yes, we are working very hard. Mike and I double-teamed emails on Saturday, and we got rid of we processed a whole bunch of them, and lots of people got their replies on that day. But now we have another whole bunch of emails as replies to those ones.
The never-ending cycle.
It's good, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd rather have
It's a good problem.
lots of customers than not very many and wonder what's going on. Why do the cars have to stay at the port for 30 days prior to shipment? They don't. You just get free 30-day of storage, and then depending on the vessel, you'll get on the next available vessel as soon as possible. I'm in Vancouver, and I've been looking at a newer JDM import. What models would you say get slapped on most for sports cars? That's the problem, is when you say sports cars, then not an awful lot of them are slept on. Usually a sports car is an attractive car that keep in the mind of people, and then they target those cars. And it's very rare to find a good sports car that people have forgotten about. That said, the Canada market right now is a little bit cold, and a lot of cars are being overlooked. So there are a lot of kind of popular-ish cars that you can still import. I tend to like to get like station wagons, even something like a Honda Euro Accord R, like this one here, might be interesting. That would be considered a sports car, and a very nice handling sports car, nice power, even though it's not super fast. Really depends on your tastes, though. There's a lot of good cars depending on what kind of car that you like. Stages, yeah. Stages are good. They're not really sporty, though. They have 250 horsepower, but they're not that sporty. Hey Derek, have you ever sold an AirTrack Turbo R? What are your thoughts on them? I have sold them. I've never driven one. They're basically like a station wagon version of the Evo. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. They're cool. They use the same engine and same drivetrain. Horsepower's down, automatic transmission only. But they are cool cars. So I imagine that they drive similar. I didn't look at where that auction was. Mike, you're gonna have to do something about this. That's 2 slip-ups and 2 videos. We can't show any of the USS stuff, and so sorry about that. I can't show you what the AirTrack looks like. But yeah, it's like a station wagon or Forester-sized vehicle that's like a like an Evo. Lancer Evolution. Sup, dude? I love your car. I don't know who he's talking to, but probably not me because my cars are usually not cool. It's true.
I have a habit of buying uncool cars.
I target uncool cars. Wow, we got too many of them to go after. So now what we're going to do now is when you guys send in comments, I'll browse through some of them from time to time, but Mike's going to pull out some of the better questions and he's going to feed them to me, and then he's going to also show me some of the cars that we're going to be wanting to look at the auction over here. And so before we get into that, Mike, why don't you tell me which ones that we looked at last week, and we'll take a look at the sales prices of those ones.
Cool. So there was a BMW M3 27077, and that's a JAA.
Oh, this one here, look at the top, Japan auction, auto auction sold prices. That's where you want to go for the past auctions. What was that number again?
27077.
Thank you. Okay, and that was... I can't find it. That's odd. You said it, oh, it's a BMW?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so sold for 4,075 yen. I can't remember how much that I said that it was going to be. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, the engine doesn't work very well on it, and it has some pretty serious corrosion holes in it, but still 40,000 kilometers is very low for an E30 M3. So 4 million yen? Yeah, I would say that. Oh, no, that was the highest bid. The car went unsold. 4 million yen seemed like it might be a good price for me for this car, but I'm not surprised that it went unsold. A lot of people don't really want to get into a Project M3 because you have to be really good at restoring cars if you want to restore one of these. Otherwise, everyone's going to be upset at you, and you're going to end up with something that's not cool. Jose says BMW 335 wagon. I would love one of those. When can you bring them into Canada? Japan doesn't have any... Oh, probably talking about the E92 version of it, or the E90 something version. Those ones, I can't remember which year that they started. I think it's like 2005, but that's a really rare vehicle because the 335 has a twin turbo 3-liter, and then that in itself is kind of a rare vehicle, but the wagon version of it is super rare. And so I think that you can pretty soon. I don't know when they are. Mike, do you mind looking that up?
When the sorry, which one was that?
I think it's the E92. Just go to Wikipedia, and then the generation after the E46. I think it started in 2005. Hey Derek, what is your all-time favorite car? I don't think that that's a question that can garner a proper response from me because I don't have a favorite car. It depends on my mood. It's like saying what's your favorite artist, and then like there are sometimes I want to listen to rap music, sometimes I want to listen to heavy metal, sometimes I want to listen to Christmas music, and then at that time I'm going to have a different favorite artist. And so my favorite car, I don't know. There are a lot of cars that I really like, and I could list those off, but I don't know. It would be very difficult to pick one all-time favorite car, because most likely that's a car that I don't want to actually own, because a lot of my favorite cars are too valuable for my current lifestyle. I wouldn't want to damage the car. I don't have enough money to upkeep it in the way that I'd want to. Something like a Renault 5 Turbo, or even the Renault Clio. I really like those. I like the R32 Golf that I just owned a lot more than I think I should have. I like the new Golf R. I like a lot of Japanese stuff, but for some reason, like Euro cars, because they're a little bit more emotional, kind of fit with me a little bit better. It's like a guy that is always attracted to goth girls. And
go on.
I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I have a friend who's a very good friend, and then he's totally into girls that you would typically go, you might want to rethink this before you get in a relationship with her, and then typically has a history of not being happy in his relationships either. I don't know. Needy women are difficult, and I think you should think twice before you go for that. Not saying that everyone who's gothic is needy, but yeah, I'm digging myself a hole.
To segue along, the E92 started in 2006.
2006.
Late.
So you have another 2.5 years for that one before you can import it, and that is in reference to the E92 BMW 335 Touring. And also the 335 Touring might have come several months after the introduction of that model as well. Okay, so there was that one. What's the second one that we looked at last week?
An STI 65093, and that was Mirai.
So that was an Impreza. Okay, this one's sold. Ooh, what a sales price for an Impreza. 555,000 yen. In case you guys don't know, one of their major sponsors was the cigarette company 555. So that's kind of fun. They also made a special version of it that says 555 on the side of the GC8s. So 133,000 kilometers, 5-speed, body is average. It seems fair. I think that's a good price. This is an STI version 3. So they're not really that expensive. These ones don't have the full 280 horsepower until the version 4, which came the year after this one. And so yeah, 555 seems reasonable for that. Yeah, for sure. What's up next, Mike D?
Now this was the Toyota Sport, number 30 at JU Kanagawa.
Where is it? Where is it? JU Kanagawa. There's so many with auction number 30 that we have to go back past this first screen. Okay. Give up time. Oh, there it is. I was right about to give up. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It even came out of my mouth. Unsold at 2 million yen. Okay, so the Sport 800 is the rear-wheel drive 2-cylinder boxer engine Toyota sports car that's really weird, kind of fast because it's very light. At least at the time it was decently fast. And look at this hard top version. Cool. It's funny that Toyota and Honda both had a car called the Sports 800. Well, the Toyota one was Sports 800 and the Honda one was S800. I like the license plate with the 8. And 2 million unsold? I guess reasonable. I don't know how much these cost. What else do we got?
We've got the Supra. That was 10014. Mirai.
Okay.
It was an RZ. Everyone liked it.
Ah, yes. This one, unsold. Oh, yeah, that's a low bid. So this one was color changed to, what's the engine, or the paint code?
RSP.
RSP.
Royal Sapphire Pearl. Ooh-wee.
And maybe nobody bid on this one because they don't like the body kit, but I do. Everybody should like this body kit, even if it is ugly. I definitely do. What were the problems on this? Let's see. Color changed, car accident damaged, engine room has rust in it, aero part scratch, dashboard comes up. I don't know, pretty much the normal things other than that engine room rust. That's not very normal. But unsold at 1.654 million yen. So like
really low.
14,000. That is really low for a twin turbo version. It's good. Yeah, I wonder what the seller actually wants for that. So, don't know. Comes with intercooler, LSD, exhaust, power seats, air filter, 19-inch wheels, aero parts. Veilside aero parts. Very much 1990s. Veilside aero parts is kind of like hair bands of the 90s. It's like...
Yeah.
The only people who appreciate it are people who love the nostalgia of it and the weirdness of it. You can coin that term. Veilside body kit is the hair metal of the car world. Okay, so we are now going to be taking submissions from you people. What do you mean by you people? Ooh, RS260. I'm a huge fan. WTF-osaurus. Here's a question for everybody before we get into that. WTF, my daughter, she's 12 years old, and she's in an English class, because, you know, she's in Japan, she speaks English and Japanese, but we want to brush up on her English, and she said WTF in the class. Like, she didn't say the actual words that the acronym stands for, she just said WTF, and she got in trouble from the teacher there. So they said, you're not allowed to say WTF, because that's a swear word. And I don't know where I sit on that, because at my house we say WTF all the time, and obviously that's where she got it from. And so is that something, like, where are you allowed to say WTF? And Josh is chiming in, what is the intent of it? I think it's just like that was a crazy circumstance, WTF. And we're fairly liberal with her about swear words at the house. We tell her, if you use the swear words properly or within the correct context, then we're not going to be that angry at you. But we don't want to hear you swearing for the sake of swearing. We don't want to ever hear you swearing at other people, and we want to make sure that the people that you're swearing around are going to be able to receive that properly. So, for example, don't swear in front of adults, don't swear in front of people that you don't know very well, that sort of thing. And like, you can have a rule in your house, no swearing at all, but kids are going to decide what they want to do anyway. And so why create a system set up for failure for your kids, is what I'm thinking. WTFosaurus, thank you, because your name made us think about this. I'm a full-on Twitch streamer, and companies that sponsor me, etc., don't have an issue. Yeah, I think that Twitch in particular pulls in companies that don't care about swearing, and in today's day and age, I think swearing is a lot more common than it was when I was a kid, because most children are watching streaming or watching YouTube videos that have swearing, whereas TV, when I was a kid, the 2 channels that we got had no streaming at all, or no swearing at all on it. And so I think that nowadays everybody is more used to swearing, and it's not as much of a bad thing. And here's an interesting thing too, is in Japan, they don't have any swear words. They just have rude words that you typically don't say. Naoko? Yes. Here I am calling on Naoko for the video. Naoko, what are the words that you're not allowed to say on TV in Japan? Because I know one of them is gaijin. They don't say gaijin, they say gaikokujin.
Oh, yeah, okay, I have heard this.
So gaijin means foreigner. If you watch Fast and the Furious, then you'll think that this is an insulting word, but it isn't really. It's just a little bit abrasive. It means outsider, but a lot of foreigners here in Japan use that word pretty normally and shock people by using it, because generally on TV they wouldn't use it. They would say gaikokujin, which means somebody from another country. Or kokujin? A country person? Or I guess that's a little bit softer way. But what are the other words, Naoko? I'm asking you to swear on camera.
Naoko's too polite.
Okay, I'll say the words and you say, Naoko, you tell me yes or no, you can hear it on TV, okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Kuso.
Sometimes comedians say so.
Okay.
Or
How about aho?
oh, yeah, I see. No, I hear many times on TV.
On TV?
Yeah.
These are the worst words that I can think of.
Oh,
What other ones? How about baka? That's on TV all the time.
yeah.
This is also training for people that are in the comments or watching this. This is training for you for bad Japanese words.
Aho means baka from Osaka area.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it meant like ASS space HOLE.
That's what I was told too.
Because it kind of sounds like it, right?
Yeah.
Mike, what are some more swear words?
I don't know any.
I don't believe that,
No,
because
I'm
you're new
serious.
to the country. These are the first words that you ever hear.
Like in most languages, yeah, but I think in Japanese it's pretty rare. I'll try to think, but
in Japanese, you can kind of conjugate the words in a way that sounds ruder, and that's how people swear. And so, like,
what about teme?
yeah, that. Do they use that word on
I
TV?
never use it.
Right.
Teme means you.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
you
right,
know
but
that?
like bad way.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do they say that on TV?
Yeah, I hear. Yeah,
Oh.
many times.
So
Right.
so gaijin is the only word that they don't use on
Variety
TV.
program, yeah.
Can you whisper a word in Mike's ear that is a really bad word, and then
Yeah.
Mike will say it?
Yeah.
No, I
In
can't.
horrible pronunciation.
I've been horribly pronouncing my words too, so. I don't like to pronounce things in English, like when I'm speaking Japanese to an English person, I don't like saying it like the Japanese people normally say it. So you'll hear me talk about car names. A lot of times I'll say it in a very gaijin-like way, just because it sounds weird to say an English sentence with the Japanese word in it. Yeah.
Should we get into some cars?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Would you like? Well, we can do the Evo 6 first. 347 at TAA Kinky.
Okay, so go to the auto auctions tab up here. We're gonna go 347. One of you guys picked this. Who was it that picked this?
Good question.
I don't know. To whoever who picked this, thank you very much. I appreciate you going to the auction tool and picking out cars to look at. And I'm sure everybody else does, because a Tommy Mackinnon version of this car is pretty awesome. And pretty expensive these days. So the Tommy Mac version is the Evo 6.5 is what people call them, because it is every year Lancer made a new evolution of the car that is a little bit better than the previous one, and then they went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then at the end of 6, they didn't make 7 right away, because 7 came on a new chassis, and so they made this one, which is the Tommy Mackinnon edition. Comes with different aero parts on it. Sometimes comes with these stripes on it, and it almost exclusively comes in red and white. And then the stripes are optional. This stripe here, and this sticker and this are optional as well, right from the factory. I don't think these ones are. I don't know, could be wrong about that. And then it's faster. It has a titanium turbo instead of a steel one. It has exclusive seats inside and a couple of various little things that I don't really know that much about. They cost more than twice that of the regular Evo 6, because a lot of people think that the Evo 5 and 6 are the pinnacle of the Evos, and they went downhill from there, and they like the styling of them with the big fender flare here, and I don't know, it's just a cool car. People like them.
I reckon they look great.
And so the regular Evos, they cost like 500,000 to 1.4 million yen. Not now. These ones can range anywhere from about 1 million yen to, we're touching 4 million yen sometimes, which is pretty insane for an economy car, race car. This one, unknown mileage, so that's going to dampen the price a bit. Has Tane adjustable suspension, aftermarket exhaust, aftermarket intercooler piping. This is the original intercooler on it. Has been painted. It originally doesn't have a logo on there. Defi gauges, keyless entry, gauge set has been changed so they don't know the mileage on it. The exterior has sticker marks, like glue, like when you take a sticker off and it leaves glue. Steering wheel grip is broken, console has glue on it, door card is saggy, that's an easy fix on these. Seat has medium wear, air cleaner is modified. Underside of the bumper is scratched, aftermarket stereo, rear spoiler painted, mirror has paint fade on it, aftermarket bumper. It is not an aftermarket bumper, thank you person who doesn't know. Because the regular Evo 6 is a different looking front bumper. This is the, oh, it actually, it is the exact same look of the bumper, but they may be referring to the original bumper was broken, and so there is an aftermarket clone bumper put on. Because if you look closely, you can see paint is maybe a little bit off. These cameras can be a little bit difficult to tell, and I think that the original doesn't have red down here. Maybe. Time to Google. And then the Tommy Mackinnon only came in the Evo 6, only 1 year of them. Oh yeah, it is red all the way down. And if it's an aftermarket bumper, I think that it wouldn't have a separate lip piece. It would just be a one piece. So I don't know the answer to that. Anyways, it's a cool looking car. I love the offset, you can't see it in this picture, but the intake here. Just one on this side, and then a different one on this side. Okay, engine room has modifications in it. This is the kind of car that's going to keep more value if it is kept stock. It has a sticker on the back, TMV4. I wonder what that means. I don't know. I don't know if there's one called the TMV4. It looks like there isn't. It kind of seems like it would be like a Tommy Mackinnon exclusive version, but it's not that I can tell. Yeah, unknown mileage. How's the body on this one? Let's have a quick look at that. Yeah, not bad. Paint damage, which is kind of bad with the stickers on there, because that means you also have to replace the stickers if you repaint. Some paint damage up here. So most likely that's faded paint. But the body is otherwise good. Some U2 on the roof, so somebody was doing the NSYNC dancing on the roof music video. I don't know how people get dented roofs, really. It is a little bit weird. Price-wise, you're still going to see this one at like 1.8 to 2 million, I think. Is my guess. 1.8 million yen to 2 million. And if you need the conversion, that's like 15,000 to, I don't know, a little bit more than that. Okay, interesting. What else we got? You want to do a question next, Mr. Mike?
I can do another car while I look for a question. Would you like a 1998 Type R or a Town X-Wagon? Okay.
We'll do the Type R. And before we get to that, Braddock Delica prices are still on the increase right now, especially for the really good ones. And I think most of the ones that are going to the U.S. aren't that good. Most of them are somewhere around 500,000 yen, oftentimes less. And the good ones start at around 650 now. 1,000 yen. Okay, what's that number?
75075. Mirai.
Brendan Morris,
yeah.
Very funny.
I was just looking at that. On the road.
Okay, wow. Here's something you don't see every day, a Honda Integra Type R that's not white. I swear that 95% of them are white. They also came in yellow. For the US market, a lot of yellow ones, but very, very rare yellow ones here in Japan. Also black, silver, and maybe red?
I think you're right. Phoenix Red, I think it was called or something.
Wow, look at you with
no,
the paint coats.
That's my thing.
What's the name of this one, Mike? What's this silver? Azure Silver.
Super
Wait, that doesn't make sense. Super Silver?
I don't know. Someone was asking about one, that's why.
This looks great. Wow, I really like how it's the 4-door too. Yeah. 4-door is not available in the USA. They made Type Rs in the USA, but no 4-doors. The 4-door is a little bit weird because you don't get the hatch at the back. You actually get a trunk, and it's a little bit weird looking. But I think it's cool that they made these in 4 doors, and convenience-wise, the 4-door is definitely worth looking into. Aftermarket exhaust. These are the original wheels for the 1998 and later version. This one's being a 1998. 1998 has a different rear bumper here, and different exhaust header that gives you a little bit more horsepower, and different headlights. I think they're slightly different. I don't know. I can't remember all the differences, but the 1998 ones are generally more sought after. A little bit more power, maybe better handling, maybe a little bit lighter. I'm not too sure about all the changes. One of the big ones is you get 5-bolt hubs instead of 4-bolt hubs, which is kind of cool. You get better. I think they're 114.3 by 5, which gives you good selection of wheels, instead of a 1.143 4-bolt, which I think the earlier ones are, but they might be 100. I don't know. You can get red seats or black seats for the interior. Looks like the steering wheel has been rewrapped, which is a bit of a shame. Original shift knob is in here. These are amazing cars. You really can't quite explain how good these cars are until you've actually driven one. It's one of, like, after you drive it for the first time, you're gonna understand, and until you do that, you won't really understand. It's weird. It's oddly weird how good the 1.8 liter 200 horsepower engine, just the whole package feels so good altogether. So 60,000 kilometers makes this a really low mileage, good condition. There's a scratch on this side, scratch on the roof, and a big scratch on the hood. There must be some of that going on with this car too. Auction rated 4, interior B, exterior C, 1998. What else? Not really much to talk about. Gojigen exhaust. That's really how you pronounce it. Gojigen. It would be the actual pronunciation. I guess a lot of people are wondering if it's 5 Zeigen or 5 Zeigen. It's Gojigen in Japanese. But I don't know what the Jigen means. It's usually written in kanji, or is often written in kanjis, but I can't read that kanji. So purchase from user, 1 owner vehicle, 60,000 original kilometers, windshield rock chip, interior wear and dirty, back panel dented, right front power window doesn't work, underside painted, steering wheel has a cover on it, and has been washed by the auction, inside and outside. Various scratches, dents, repair marks, wheel scratch. Looks not bad. The hood will probably need a repaint in order to get rid of that A3 on it, but otherwise, yeah, pretty good. And the 4-door will sell for less than the 2-door because of its somewhat awkward looks. So I would think probably looking at around 880,000 yen on this one. That's going to be my guess. And maybe the door mirror is broken because you can see one's folded in and the other one isn't. Those would be electronic folding mirrors. Cool car. You got a question for me? Are you setting bids right now?
Yes. Sorry, I'll be back in a moment.
Okay. I'll just browse. I'll browse the chat here. Do you ever have any A22 Celicas come through? I know they are super rare. No, we don't. In case people are looking, the A22 Celica. So these ones have gotten to the age where you don't really see them that often. Prices have come up. You see them every once in a while, but conditions are going to be hit and miss because at this age everything will have to have been restored or rusty. And yeah, so they come in 2 wheelbases. The early ones are the shorter wheelbase, like this one. Why are the early Celicas so cheap? Not in Japan anymore, but they came with a better engine in Japan, way better engine. In the US they got like an 8RG or an 8RC and an 18RC, and in Japan they got the 18RG and the 2TG and the 3TG, I think. But the Japanese engines are closer, very close to a race car engine, twin cam, high revving, good horsepower, side draft carbs, and they got the cheap one in the USA. And so the US version of this car is really sad compared to the Japanese version. Oh, it looks good. It's a ripoff of the Mustang, but it's a good ripoff of the Mustang. Good looking car. A lot of them seem to be in this color too. This seems to be the popular color for these. Good looking car. I would love to have one, but I would prefer to get 11, first generation 11 instead of one of these. They're similar cars. This is a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger engine than 11 has. I love my first gen Celica. Jonathan, you are cool. Yep, Japan keeping the good things for themselves. Not so much anymore, though. That was really a 1970s, 80s, 90s. Japan was keeping the best for themselves. Nowadays, it's just too expensive to have 2 different vehicles for 2 markets, and they have to be really careful how they make cars these days. Otherwise, you just can't make money. Do you see any Celica GT4s for sale? How much to import to Australia? I don't know the import costs to Australia, but the GT4s, an ST165 is super expensive because they're super rare, and so you're looking at about $1,000,000 yen for one of those. An ST185 is still relatively cheap. You can get them for about 400 to 800, not including the RC or the WRC models, and the ST205 is about the same price as that. How are the prices of the R34 GTR compared to others? How are compared to others of what? Super Sans Gamer? Compared to other cars that are competitive to it? More expensive, because they didn't make very many of those. I think it's like 16,000 or something, or 12,000 that they made. How many R34 GTRs did they make? And they made way more R33s and way more R32s than that. 11,577 R34 GTRs were made. And so price, and because they were the last version and the most iconic version, I think outside of Japan for sure the most iconic version. Here in Japan, the R32 is kind of, they're competitive with the R34 in terms of how much presence that they have. Because you have to imagine that, like, back then it was a huge deal when the 32 came out, and in the West and in most other countries, we didn't get to hear about the R34 or any of the Skylines until the R34 was out and Gran Turismo was out. What are your thoughts on the EP3 Civic Type Rs? I'm thinking about getting one as a daily. I think they are very good cars. I'm a little bit disappointed that they're not as good as the generation before that, but they cost half the price. And so in that respect, I think that they're amazing. And Chris Harris just did one on the new Type R versus the EP3, and so that's a very cool video. You should watch that. Although it seems like the one that he was driving had some problems with the suspension, and I thought he made the car sound better than it actually is in real life, because he was saying that the handling is really good, but then he said the suspension was bad, and I'm like, how do I mix these two things? How can you have bad suspension with it? Handling really good, and I find the Civic Type R, the EP3, doesn't handle very good, and that's one of the things I don't like about it. It handles good up until about 8/10, and then after that it just doesn't perform that well, in my opinion. But I haven't ever taken it on a track. I don't really know. I'm just talking about things I don't know here. What's the rarest car you've gotten from auction? That's a good question, Jonathan Magnus. I don't really know the answer to that. We've exported a ton of super duper rare cars. We've bought many cars. We've bought some 1 out of 1 cars that have only one car has ever been made. One of those was a race car that was actually used as a pace car in a race back in the 90s, which is very cool. They made that car only in one color for that pace car. That was a very cool thing. I don't know if I can mention that because the person, like, if you looked it up, you would find out who bought that one, and I don't really want to say those details. I'll tell you, Mike, after. I know you're looking at me like I'm interested in that.
I want to know.
You can find pictures of it on the internet. It's really cool to see that. And there are a number of circumstances like that. We've bought a Cosmo, first gen Cosmo, and this is also the most expensive car that we bought. But it was this, not this one. Look, this one has these vents in it, and so they made like 800 of these with these vents. But the earlier model with a shorter wheelbase and different vents in the front. Let's see if we can find that. Not this one. And so they made like a production version, and they only made like 50 of them, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna need to make some changes, and then after they made changes, they came out with this one, which is a great looking car. But the earlier ones would be a rarer one. See, they're all that one. This almost looks like it, but there are no vents here. There still are vents. I don't remember what this is called, an A110, is that right? Or an L110? Nope, that's a camera. Give up time. You're walking away from me, Mike.
Oh, do you want a car?
No.
Zip Osaka.
Yes.
Number 63 at Zip Osaka is a Lotus Esprit.
Oh, okay. 63 Lotus Esprit. James Bond's car that could go underwater. So this one's a turbo one. If I was going for an Esprit, I would definitely not go with the turbo one. Turbo cars from the 70s are 70s/80s. They're usually not cars, especially ones that aren't Japanese. Japanese manufacturers really got turbo engines very well in the 80s compared to other manufacturers. And so I would be a little bit worried about that. And in general, an Esprit is a car that this is your goth girlfriend car. It's one that's going to give you troubles, but you're going to love it anyway. Definitely. And the 2.2 turbo 4-cylinder, I don't know. I kind of want the V8 version. V8 Esprit for me. Unknown mileage, that would be a big problem on a car that would be considered a classic car. Body is really good, but has been repainted. Is that original paint? Let's have a look. It is the original color. It kind of looks too good to be the original paint. Old car, so the mileage is unknown. So maybe the mileage is correct, but they're saying because the car is so old, they don't know, and they don't want to be liable for it. But it's in miles, 50,000 miles, still pretty low. Underside has some corrosion, front windshield. Bring it over here so I can actually read it. Front windshield side molding is faded. Well, it's a good looking car, but it's not an amazing looking car depending on who you ask. Like, some people might think this is one of the best looking cars from the 70s, but I think that most non-car people would find this to be somewhere around a 7 out of 10 or something. And then you could spend the same amount of money to get a car that is more snazzy. And I think that the purpose of buying an Esprit, for the most part, is to get attention. And so I think that there are plenty other cars that I would go for before this one if my wish was to get attention. And that's not to say that everybody who buys these is looking for that. There are people who actually like their British cars and they think this is a sweet car and they love James Bond and they want to convert it into a submarine. It's good. They're generally not that expensive. This one is starting at 1.8 million. I could probably see this with, with the unknown mileage and good body, probably going for around 2.5 million to 3 million yen or so. And yeah, probably going to need a lot of work. It's one of those cars that you tinker with, and you always have something broken, and you're always working on fixing something. So if you want to buy that car, you have to be willing to put up with that sort of thing. Nicholas Aganier says the EP3s have McPherson struts instead of double wishbones, and I think that's why people don't like them so much. I'm from the Fraser Valley in Canada, so we only got a detuned SI version. Yes, that is exactly right. They cheaped out because they thought that most people don't care about double wishbones, and a double wishbone system is more expensive to put into your car. And so I think that was the downfall of that car, because otherwise it's amazing. It's faster than the generation of the Type R that came in before it. That's a snazzy Esprit. That's snazzy. Ever bought a 22 BSTI? No, we've bid on them a number of times, but we never won one. And the prices keep going up. They were like, for some time, they were going up at least 20% a year, which is pretty insane for a Japanese economy car, basically. This racing version of an economy car. Okay, why don't you hit me with another question? You got a question?
Someone's after pricing for an R34 GT-T.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to find a car to go with it. Oh, this one's...
R34 GT-T. Previously a very good priced car, not so much anymore since the GTRs have come up in price so much, and a lot of people just want an R34, and so that has boosted up the price of the GT-Ts as well, which is...
16126.
So the GT-T still has 280 horsepower, but it's a very different feel when you drive it. This one's been at auction for a while.
I chose it because it's got the kit, which can affect.
I think we actually looked at this recently. This one is the original base, or maybe I did for a customer. It's our original Bayside Blue. Yeah, I remember this pretty clearly. So the original Bayside Blue in the GT-T is really rare unless you get it with an automatic transmission for some reason. I don't know why they made so few of them with manual and the Bayside Blue, because obviously it's one of the most gorgeous paint colors. It could be that this was an pay extra option for this paint, because it is a very much more expensive paint for Nissan to put on a car, so obviously they would want some money for it. And the Bayside Blue is the iconic color of the R34 GTR, and I think a lot of people would appreciate a GT-T with this paint as well. This one's been converted to a GTR looking front bumper, the Nismo front bumper, and then this little extra piece here to make it look more GTR-like, because the GTR has a different hood that's taller than the GT-T. The GTR is wider and this one's narrower, so it looks a little bit weird in my mind. And then it is not a GTR-looking rear spoiler, but still not a bad-looking one. And the rear bumper is the Nismo version of the rear bumper, but the Nismo GT-T kit looks different from the Nismo GTR kit. Wheels look good. The paint I think will look better in real life because it is original Bayside Blue, and this looks weird to me. But in real life it's a pearlescent paint that looks very nice. Aftermarket seats, and then the condition is really bad on this one. It has a huge dent over here, paint fade here and here, unclear paint here, cracked front bumper, and uneven paint over here, unclear paint over here. Paint fade on one of the tail lights, fairly big accident repair, front accent core support was replaced, front side member was replaced, floor side member scratched and dented, right front inner panel has been cut and modified, and has a section of it that is dented, and the left front inner panel bent. Left front side member bent. That sounds like a really serious accident. Oh, and the left rear corner panel bent. But being this color, being an original with original 5-speed manual, I still think it's going to go for a high price. And so I think I can't remember what we told that customer who asked for a price for this, because it has gone through auction. And we should be able to see what the past sales price was. Oh, no, we can't. I wonder why that is. What's the date today? Today is the 28th? 27th. So this goes through auction tomorrow. I think I said that this is going to sell for more than you're going to want to pay for it because of being such a rare car. And I think that I quoted 1.5 million yen on it. But I don't know. I think serious buyers aren't going to pay that much for it. That sounds pretty crazy. Oh, Kevin Machida's in the chat. Hi, Kevin. How's your car? Oh, somebody actually, you sent somebody our way, and they were like, Kevin said to call you or to contact you.
Yeah, I remember.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for that. So, yeah, the R34 GT-T, it's hard to find a good one for under 1 million yen right now. And so if you're looking for one, I would recommend 1 million to 1.2 million yen. You can go a little bit higher if you want a really good one. There are some pretty trashy ones, which is weird because they don't really seem like the type of car that becomes trashy. The cars that become trashy are usually the ones that dip down in price so low that people buy them that aren't willing to take care of their cars. And this happens with like the GT-T of the R32 and the R33 big time, the Silvia, the 180SX, Toyota Celicas, Toyota Celica. What other cars do that? The Pulsar GTI R was like that big time. Imprezas are like that. So yeah, like for example, an Impreza GC8 starts off its life as a 2 million yen car, and within 10 years it's gone down to a 200,000 yen car. So basically $1,800 for a pretty fast sports car. And so people would buy it and drive it without caring that much about it because it's not worth very much. But now it's worth $6,000 or so instead of $1,800 because the prices have gone back up because all of the bad ones, a big pile of bad ones, and then very few really good ones. Sorry for the terrible typing, you guys. You guys are cast to my TV and I'm typing on my phone.
There's actually a question from him about dealership cars. I don't know if you wanted to show everyone like Goonet or something.
Sure, that's a good idea. Okay, so most of the cars that we sell are through auction because auction is cheaper. This is where all the dealers in Japan buy their cars from, and you get third-party information from the auction sheet. So you don't have to rely on the dealer lying to you or not lying to you. You can buy from a dealer if you want, and the reason why you might want to buy from a dealer is if it's a car that isn't very common at auction, there are more cars available at dealers. And so there is this website called Goonet, which is a Japanese website, and this is where most of the car dealers are going to advertise their cars nationwide. And so you can see this has 363,330 cars that are used, and these are import cars. So in total, 450,000 or 430,000 cars. The auction in 1 week is about 120,000 cars. So more choice and kind of more specialty cars. So if you're looking at a really rare car, then it might take you, 6 months, 8 months, or a year before one even comes up. And in that case, you really have to bid high on that if you want to win, and you have to be patient. And then some people want to buy the car right away, or particularly this happens with dealers of ours. They sell their customer on a car that they found at a dealer here in Japan, and then we can buy it right away. So currently 7% of our sales go through a dealership like this. If you want to browse in English, you can. You go to Goonet English. And there's another company that extracted the data, and you can view it. And so it's pretty cool. And so if you want to look for a 22B here, that's the type of car. Like a 22B is about a 3 times a year kind of car at auction. But right now at dealer, there are 3 of them available. What? No, there aren't. Oh, I'm sorry. That was just looking at the history. Pardon me. Let's do a search here. Go back. And so, Subaru, Impreza, and the 22B was only sold for 1 year in 1998. So we'll pick 1998 there. And go. And then if there are any 22Bs, they're going to be the most expensive ones. And so we're going to go highest price first. And so it doesn't look like there are any. The highest price is 2 million yen, which is a lot for an Impreza. But the black ones, especially a version 6. Version 6? That's weird. A version 6 with a small spoiler on the two-door. That's not correct. I think you could go for the small spoiler as an option, but not many people did. And these are also the wrong wheels for version 6 too. I can't believe this is my job sometimes.
Getting a look at sweet cars. Yeah.
And the bumper's different too. Wrong. This car is full of wrong things, which leads me to believe that it may have been in an accident. You would have to call to find out if it had been in an accident. But if it's an accident repaired car, that's way too much for it. You would be able to buy this same car for about 1 million yen at auction. So. I'm sorry, Makaz, but the word penis is censored automatically from the chat. And so if you type that, then it is going to be automatically hidden from everybody else. As your comment actually has been. Okay, wow, so we're already at 12 o'clock. The time has gone by very quickly. And so I didn't have a chance to answer to everybody. Special thank you to the people who did the super chat this time. That was one person. Aaron Wicks. Yeah. Aaron Wicks, thank you very much for sending that in. Mike's going to send you an email to answer your question about setting up the account, so that's very nice. And to all you other people, I'm going to see you again next week. And I think next week, 3 more of these until we are off for 2 weeks for winter vacation. So thanks everyone for watching. Everyone say goodbye to Mike here.
Bye everyone. Thank you.
And Naoko is here too.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Naoko. And goodbye.
You have to make Naoko say it first. Otherwise, if she goes after me, everyone's like, we don't want to hear Mike. Naoko's so much like sweeter and kinder.
Would you like a second try at that?
No.
No, I'm going to look even worse. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Come back next time. Yeah.
All right, cool. Bye, everyone. Bye, Alexis. Bye, Pedro. Bye, Jay Clark. Bye, Kevin Machida. Bye, Lusoi Hardware. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. Bye, Brenda and Brandon Doherty 9379. Bye, WTO Saurus, the streaming guy on Twitch. Bye, Leslie Lee. Goodbye, N4DK1LL. Nadkill? Is that what it's supposed to say? Nadkill is a really funny name. I like that. Bye, Anthony. Bye, Javier. Bye, Jonathan. Bye, Dang Diggity. Man, I love some of these names. Dang Diggity. See ya. All right, we're off.